Okay, so I'm not going to back down. So people might stop trying to say, let it go. Because no, the organisation that got involved since 2015, no, I won't be backing down. Because everything I've stated is the truth, and I've been gaslighted, and that's exactly what's gone on. So what I have said is the truth, and I've been gaslighted for 9 years. And as I've said, instead of relying on other people's testimonies, can we just rely on documents? Because the document of facts is okay. When I was born, so we had a horse stud in Rudy Hill, Dunsmore Street. So you can see what type of property that was. So I can stick with all the facts. So facts are, for an example, you go through Lola May Keegan, my grandmother's family heritage. Go from the fact that, okay, she's raised in 43 Piper Street, Leichhardt. Her mother was a seamstress. Her father was a jockey. Go back to her grandmother, Julia. Her grandfather, George Sayer. Go back to her great-grandmother, Bridget Dufresne. Her great-grandfather, Matthew Joseph Ryan. Go to Julia's sister. So my grandmother, Lola, to Julia. Which is Julia Ryan, but married to Sayer, so she becomes Sayer. Go to her sister, which is Annie, so Annie Williams, who lived in Bellevue Hill. So why don't we just do the facts? Because Annie Williams lived in Bellevue Hill. Her son Tommy Williams and her grandson Nan's cousin Gary Williams, all from Bellevue Hill, and Nan grew up going to Bellevue Hill to see her grandmother. So let's stick with the facts. Okay, let's stick with the facts that, yep, you got my mother's property in Tamworth, but my dad's lived at Empire Bay on the Central Coast just as long. My dad's parents from the Parramatta area, but moved to at Long Beach, just down from the water, not too far from the water, walking distance, back in the early 80s. That we holidayed at Long Beach. We, Reginald George Purdy, back on my mother's side, Balmain Roselle, his father, Keith Charles Purdy, Balmain Roselle, his grandfather, Balmain Roselle. My dad's father, Stanley Fleming, from Botany Bay, raised by Edith Kavanagh. My dad's mother, Ruby Jean Hill, from Abbotsford. My dad's grandmother, Ada Gray, from Abbotsford. My dad's grandfather, Frank Edward Hill, they were married in Woollahra. Frank's born in Dunedin, but lived in Woollahra when they moved to Sydney. Let's look at the actual facts. So we don't have to listen to statements from people. We look at the facts, and we look at the facts of my upbringing. Yes, my horse was more expensive than my BMW. Yes, this is how we grew up. Yes, this is what we had. And then stop gaslighting me, which is what's been done since 2015 from groups and organisations. Look at the actual facts and documents, instead of lying about me, which is what groups and organisations have done. So I'll keep putting as much documents through the Department of Foreign Affairs as I can, so it's all verified. I'll put every single family document through, every birth, deaths, and marriage documents. Can we stop listening to my mother Carol? Can we stop listening to her narcissistic sisters? Because you got 3 bitches of women there. Can look at the facts that when I started primary school at St. Aidan's in Rudy Hill, which I can prove, and I've asked them for proof, but they don't have the documents. I said, okay, well, I've still got my school badge. My school badge was the old emblem on the school, and that has Latin on it, because we learned Latin. We had to learn what our school badge said on it as well. Started St. Aidan's in 1984, and it was Father O'Grady and one of the nuns and so forth there. Can we look at that fact? Can we look at the fact that it was an ethnic school that I attended right up until April 1989? Then there was another school that we went to after we moved, but it was only just down the road. There was nothing really much about their curriculum, just down the road from where Mum brought when she moved, so it would make sort of friends in the area. But then if you look at the high school and the curriculum there, so what I've said, I did learn French at high school. That's right. There was 2 French teachers. One of them was Miss Craig, the other one was Miss Davids. Miss Davids, and there's Miss Davids and there's Miss Davis. Miss Davis I had for English. Miss Davids I had for French. Miss Craig I had for music. Now, you can see all this. Everything I've said is the truth. So instead of gaslighting me continuously for 9 years, causing me damages, which is what even mental health organisations have done and other people, can we just rely on documents? Because I will take my own twin sister to the court. She's grown up exactly like my mother and my mother's sisters. Kept in a little fake bubble. Whatever they want to push and pull her. So I'm not going to back down. Like I said, we'll just rely on documents then. Just rely on documents. Because you're going to rely on hearsay testimonies of people, and they don't match the documents. So just rely on documents, because you can't dispute the documents. So if you just rely on documents and stop gaslighting me, you're already up for 9 years of damages. And that's what I want. Like, what I've said is the truth. I've backed it up through photos and videos and documents, and I'm still gaslighted because other people have made hearsay comments that isn't true. I'm like, but what you've come out of your mouth isn't true. It doesn't even match the documents. So I can actually, come up with the proof that, documented proof of what I'm saying, and that's it. Leave it as that. Like, for example, I said in 1995 about me learning Italian. Well, there's a photo of me in my Year 10 yearbook. It's me with my artwork. The photo of me in my Year 10 yearbook is questionable. I'm looking at it going, well, I remember we didn't get our photos taken when everyone else did because we were away at a horse show. So did they use someone else's photo? But there is actually a photo of me with my artwork. And that artwork, I think, is still at Mum's. It was my Year 10 major. There's 5 Italian paintings. And that's when I learned Italian. I can prove all this and back it up. I can make a statement and speak for myself, and no one else can. And I'm not going to let anyone else speak for myself. So the organisations, whichever way they like it, you're liable for damages because you took information that was hearsay and not facts, and you didn't rely on me. And that's it. My mother's made all these comments about my dad's side of the family that isn't true. And I'll tell you what, I'm sick of it. Like I said to Dad, I wish people would stand up to her. My mother knows nothing at all about my dad's side of the family. Nothing. And they can't stand her. I can't even stand her. So why are we going to let my mother know any information about the Fleming side? It's nothing to do with her. Seriously, my dad divorced her. Like, she had a bit of had over the years, or had a gut full of fucking Carol. I hated guts. Actually, she's just a troublemaker. She'll just keep causing trouble in someone else's life because people let her do it. And that's why all these fucking country losers. Okay, like I've said to people, yeah, I lived in Tamworth for 6 years. That's true. My mother, we didn't know anyone when we moved there. My stepfather went there for a holiday with my mother, weekend holiday. She liked him, put a house there. That's it. End of story. So that's to do with my stepfather, Mark Rackley. My real father's Mark Fleming, 2 different people. Here we are with fucking losers. I'll tell you what, I can't stand these country people. Hate their fucking guts. They're wankers of people. They know my stepfather's family. They know probably my mother's dickhead sort of like lifestyle change when she moved from Sydney. So when she moved from Sydney, she completely changed her lifestyle. She's a fucking weirdo. Like she did, she completely changed her lifestyle around completely once she moved from Sydney. That's not how we grew up. So how she lives now, of course not. She only moved there in April 1989 with her second husband. It's nothing to do with us. And they know Daniel Rackley up that area, so Mark Rackley's son from his first marriage. They know Mark Rackley, my stepfather. They're just wankers of people. And I've been saying this for 9 years, like, but you're talking about my stepfather. Even to police, I'm like, but you're talking about my stepfather, you're talking about my stepbrother. Oh, then I've had other people talking about my mother's nephew, Shane Childs, and some other fucking weirdo. And then Carol's still running around going, oh, you grew up in Tamworth. I'm like, no, I didn't. You moved there in April 1989. The entire time we were there, was spent back home in Sydney if I didn't have school on, and it was. If I didn't have sports or school, I was back home in Sydney. Every single holiday except for October. October was a sporting holiday, and yes, in October, I did play polo cross. It was one of the sports that was on option for like the horse sports. Apart from that, we always rode equestrian. So equestrian at hacking at nationals and royals and major shows. But October was one time you could try different horse sports. And I did do polo cross. Everyone did. They went to pony camp. And it was enjoyable. Apart from that, but not enjoyable where I want to do it again. It was just different. But yeah, seriously. Then I moved back to Sydney in 1995. I had nothing to do with these people because I'm not going to have anything to do with the people where the area my mother moved to with her second husband. They're fucking wankers. I would never have anything to do with the people from New England. That simple. I was only there barely for 6 years and I won't have anything to do with those people. Whether they're nice or not, I don't care. My mother moved there with her second husband. That's it. So don't bother trying to affiliate yourself with my life. I won't have anything to do with you. My mother moved there with her second husband. That's all you know. And that's all you'll ever know. And don't ever involve. If Carol didn't move there, we wouldn't know anything to do with you guys. If she didn't move there with her second husband. So I've said to the police several times, all right, you've let people from New England harass me. I want them arrested for it. We're talking about people that I've had nothing to do with, for over 30 years. had no contact with for over 30 years. So your job is to press criminal charges. You can do that, or I'll find a solicitor to sue New South Wales Police for not doing their job.